Right? I'm not representing Planning Commission, but I'm speaking for myself. But I'll use my experience as a commissioner. I have a unique perspective from serving 2 years under the council majority of Darcy Paul, Liang Chow, Kitty Moore, John Willie between 2021 and 2022, and 2 years under the current council majority of Hong Wei, J.R. Fruan, and Sheila Mohan between 2023 and 2024. So I have both perspectives. I put these council members in these two distinct groups as their priorities are different and their voting patterns will reflect that. You go back and look at the voting records for these council members, you will see how they vote, right? I also had the opportunity to work with Ray Wang on the Planning Commission between 2021 and 2022. Ray was the Planning Commission vice chair and chair during that time. Just to give you some background, serving on the Planning Commission is voluntary. It's not a paid job. The Planning Commission is expected to meet twice a month and serves as an advisory body to the council. This means the commission is expected to meet 24 times a year. The commission has authority to approve development projects and grant any exceptions requested by the developers as well as residents. The data I'm going to share here is directly from Cupertino City website, and these are verifiable facts. Between 2021 and 2022, under the council majority of Darcy, Liang, Kitty, and John Willie, the Planning Commission met 36 times against the expected 48 times. That's a 75% schedule adherence performance. Like if you're looking at how well they are doing, we met 75% of the times, less cancellations. The commission spent a total of 86 hours in meetings, averaging 2.5 hours per meeting. Probably twice that much offline in researching these projects and the topics. Right? So that's how much time Ray put in, and myself and many of the commissioners put in. The longest meeting was 6 hours and 29 minutes on July 5th, 2022, going through every one of the housing element sites, right, to make sure the density is appropriate. The second longest meeting was one before that on June 22, 2022, lasting 5 hours, 17 minutes, working through the housing element inventory sites again. During this time, the Planning Commission completed the work needed for a housing element plan by July 2022. And the ball was in the staff's hands to prepare the first draft of the housing element to be submitted by the deadline of January 31st, 2023. So they had roughly 6 months to take what we did and come up with a draft that we can submit. Everything was going as per the plan, despite the city hiring bad consultants. We had to fire the consultants because they were doing a poor job. Thank you, Ray, for exposing that. Then, November 22 elections happened. The council majority flipped from resident focus to real estate supported majority. The new council majority of Hong Wei, J.R. Fruan, and Sheila Mohan had everything they need to submit the first draft by Jan 31st, 2023. Instead, they left the staff to submit 3 days late on February 3rd, 2023, exposing our city for an IMBI lawsuit, which the city settled subsequently. Even though none of the California cities had an approved housing element by the deadline, we are the only one of the handful of cities that got sued, and maybe one of the only 2 cities that settled with the IMBI groups. I wonder why. You may want to do some check on the council members that are associated with IMBI groups. You may find one of the council members is a founder of a local IMBI group in Cupertino.
Who would that be?
Besides diligently working on the housing element first draft, the commission led by Ray Wang approved the following projects. Working on the housing element first draft, the commission led by Ray Wang approved the following projects. Westport project across Dianza College, that is a 267 housing units on an 8-acre lot, mix of townhomes, senior apartments, and memory care units, and retail. No office. Okay? So this was supposed to be a 840,000 square feet monster we reduced it down to 240,000 square feet. Right? We cut it by 2/3. That's an example of how you can work with a developer to do a project that makes sense for us. Right? Marina Playa, next to Target on Stevens Creek, 206 housing units on 5 acres, mix of condos and retail, no office. Other one, Canyon Crossing on Foothill Expressway and McClellan Road Junction, 18 residential units, mostly townhomes and retail, no office. Next one, Pate Brothers on Stevens Creek and Foothill Expressway Junction, 9 units of townhomes on a 0.8 acre land. The last one, Cupertino Storage, 167,000 square foot storage on a 4 acre land on Mary and 280 Junction. Right? You can't see it; it's so low profile, but we did it the right way. Right? I call these projects good projects as they add to our housing stock in meaningful ways without compromising the neighborhood integrity. Much retail without office space, because having office space creates a housing deficiency in the city. Right? Because every time you build, office space, one job for every 1.5 jobs, we need to build one house in the city. So you got to be careful, what you approve as an office space. And so that should give you a shivers on, what in the world, the 2014 council was thinking when they approved 2 million square feet of office space at Valley. So during these 2 years, so with so many housing and retail projects approved by this community-focused council and the planning commission led by Ray Wang, if anyone tells you Ray Wang is anti-development, you can call that person a blatant liar. I'll repeat, you can call that person a blatant liar. I'm specifically referring to these certain, morally corrupt ex-mayors spreading lies and rumors around. Right? I label them as morally corrupt because they think we can trade neighborhood integrity for some community benefits. Right? In the third world countries, we call them bribes. Okay. So during these 2 years, I observed Ray Wang up close in action. He's very diligent, does lots of preparation before the meeting. If you don't trust me, you can watch 2 years of planning commission meeting videos as a proof. You will see what he is about. He made sure residents' concerns are heard on the 5G cell tower issues, because they were putting up cell towers within 20 feet of people's bedrooms. Right? That's radiation up close to your head within 20 feet. And he wanted to make sure that we had design standards so that there are established norms where the cell towers could go. Right? And Ray diligently weighed in on every site in the housing element plan for its density appropriateness for the neighborhood integrity. For example, the staff recommended to upzone the 1.25 acre lot on McClellan Road at the junction of near Faria, right? So that one they wanted to propose 60 dwelling units density apartment complex. Ray stood up and said, no, that area is surrounded by all single family homes. So it's got to be 6 unit single family unit lot, right? So that's you can listen to that planning commission meeting. Also, the staff proposed to upzone large single family parcels surrounded, encircled by Crescent Road and Cupertino Road in the Crescent neighborhood. And Cupertino Road in the Crescent neighborhood. They wanted to propose high density multi-family parcels. He shot it down as they are in the middle of single family homes. Right? So that's what Ray brings. The commission led by Ray unanimously rejected a large illuminated LED sign exception on the public storage on the 280 freeway. Right? We did it unanimously because 280 is considered scenic freeway. So there are no more, you won't see any LED sign, lighted signage anywhere. Right? Unfortunately, the current council majority, after they took over, they overruled the planning commission decision and they granted large signage. Let's compare this to the Planning Commission performance between 2023 and 2024. Right? I talked about the commission when Ray was on between 21 and 2022. Now let's talk about 23 to 24 under Hung Wei, J.R. Pruvan, and Sheila Mohan. The commission met just 14 times against expected 40 times. Right? So that's about 35% schedule adherence. It was 75 before, now it's only 35%. The commission spent just 29 hours, averaging around 2 hours per meeting. Even though there were 3 more revisions to the original housing element plan, right? There were no planning commission meetings to review these changes. And this is very important because these meetings act as an opportunity for the public to provide input and speak up. If there is a large lot next to them is getting upzoned, that gives an opportunity to speak. But unfortunately, everything was done behind the scenes without public input. Many sites the commission recommended to certain density in the first draft dramatically changed, but the commission didn't get an opportunity to weigh in and the public didn't get an opportunity to comment on. During this time, the Planning Commission approved a project on Yankee Way, a 7-unit townhome complex on a 15,000 square feet single-family home lot. It's across the Whole Foods Market, and it doesn't have any guest parking. And that street is not meant for street parking. Nobody knows where they will park. Right? That project was approved, and I was the only dissenting vote on that. Ray, I wish I had you on the Planning Commission. You would have voted with me.
I would.
And then we have 2 builders remedy projects. John Willie referred. One of them is a 23-unit 5-story apartment complex on a 15,000 square feet single-family lot on the Schofield Drive, and a 35-unit project on a hill slope behind the Linda Vista Park without proper access. We have these builders remedy projects because we have a bad council that failed to protect us. Residents, you have a choice to make. Do you want good governance and people that will put in the hard work needed and serve you in good faith?
Yes.
Or do you want a bad governance without any public input and intent on wrapping up meetings by 8 p.m. so that they can go home? That's how the current council operates. Almost done. Please vote for Ray and Kitty Moore to bring the transparency and diligence back in public service. Right now, everything happens behind the scenes without public input, and that's not acceptable. And here is how you can help restore the council back to the residents. Donate to Ray and Kitty campaigns as they are grassroots candidates. They need to fight real estate funded deep pocket candidates. So they need your help. Install their yard signs in front of your yard as it influences your neighbors to support them. Your neighbors trust you more than the glossy flyers. So that's very important. And invite these 2 candidates to your neighborhood to knock on the doors and walk with them in your neighborhood so that you can introduce them to your neighbors. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see you next.